You've seen the title of this video. You know what we're doing today. Get ready to sing it with me. Rix Top 6, party time, excellent. So, what is on the agenda today? Well, we're at Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. And what is Universal Studios all about? The movies. So we're gonna count down the top 6 simulation rides. The rides that require a movie screen to enjoy. We're gonna count those down today. But before we begin, we publish theme park videos on this channel all the time. So hit that subscribe button and that bell notification button so you'll know when another video is ready for you to view. Kicking off the list in the number 6 spot is going to be the Forbidden Journey inside of Hogwarts Castle. So item number 6 ended up being the Forbidden Journey, but it came down between a decision between the Simpsons ride and the Forbidden Journey. Now the thing is, both of them give me motion sickness. Now the edge goes to the Forbidden Journey because of the queue. I mean, it's in Hogwarts, for crying out loud. The queue alone is worth putting it in the top 6 for screen rides. Now, as far as the ride itself, it's going to take you flying on a broom, so there's a lot of swaying and swinging. That's where the motion sickness comes in. And also, now if you're afraid of spiders, there is a little section in here where you're going to come across some big spiders from the Forbidden Forest. Just beware of that. Close your eyes for that section. But for real, as far as a screen ride, this one, especially if you're a Harry Potter fan, it's a must-do. It's got to be on the list. Even at number 6, it deserves to be on the list. I mean, it's going to take you through Quidditch matches and like forests and and castles, all kinds of fun. And it's a really adaptive of the movie. Taking the movie out of the theater, putting it in the theme park for this ride. Very fun. Now the other thing I really like about this ride, at least getting out of the ride, the gift shop, you go into Filch's Emporium. So what this is, if you look around the shop and you see these like little items behind these cages, these are items that were confiscated from Hogwarts students. And the workers in here, they are actually in detention. So if you ask them why they're in detention, they all have a backstory and they'll explain to you why they're in detention. Coming in at number 5 on our countdown, right there, Minion Mayhem. And it should be noted, right outside the queue here, what do minions love? Bananas. So we have a lot of banana trees right here. The number 5 item on the list, Minion Mayhem. Here's your chance to become a minion. Now this is one of the most popular rides at Universal Studios. Get here early, or have an express pass, or be prepared to wait in a long line. Now the Minions is a theater style attraction, meaning you're going to sit pretty much as you would in a theater in that type of seating. And the Minions Mayhem is starring Gru, Margot, Edith, Agnes, and of course the little minions. Ride duration is approximately 8 minutes, and the voices for the ride are the same ones that are in the actual movies. Coming in at number 4 on our countdown, the Transformers ride. Transformers, now this is basically Spider-Man's little cousin. It shares the same type of ride vehicle, the same type of ride system. The storyline, while different, is very similar in how it progresses through. Unlike Spider-Man's comic book style animation, the imagery in this ride is more like photorealistic, very similar to what you're going to see in the Transformers movies. In this ride, you have to get help from a Transformer called Evac, and you have to save the Allspark from Megatron.
Take the Allspark to safety. Optimus out. Relinquish what remains of the Allspark, or suffer the wrath of Megatron. The Autobots cannot protect you.
Now this is a fun one because you're not sitting in that theater style seating. It's an actual moving ride that dips and turns and spins. You know, you're gonna actually feel some movement with this ride, more so than if you were like in a theater type attraction. And it really doesn't matter if you're a Transformers fan or not. The storyline is easy enough to follow. In fact, it's really not even necessary to have a good time. You're just following along in the ride, having fun, getting whipped around on this adventure. Coming in at number 3 on today's countdown, Kong Skull Island. Now regarding this Kong ride, if I had created this list earlier on in this ride's existence, it maybe would not have ranked so high, coming in at number 3. But I've come to really enjoy this ride. I really like it a lot now. I mean, you're going to get jostled around a bit on this jungle bus. Nothing too crazy, but just enough to make it fun. And the action scenes with King Kong fighting the T-Rex are very fun, very thrilling. But the thing that really elevates this Kong ride on the list is that huge animatronic Kong you're going to get at the end of this ride. I love it. And here's a pro tip, or a Rix trick. I've mentioned this before, when you get to the end of the ride, take off your 3D goggles. You're not going to need them. In fact, you're going to get a better look at this huge Kong when you take off your glasses and you can see it more clearly. Coming in at number 2, almost making it to the top, Escape From Gingotts. Now this is an awesome blend of a simulation ride and a real roller coaster. It starts off with a big thrill as the track kind of rotates downward, I would say at about a 45-degree angle as you're watching this scene play out on the screen. But then the brakes are released and you plunge downward, and you're going to pull some G's and you're going to lose your stomach with that drop. A top speed is not listed for this ride, but I'm guessing somewhere between 20 and 30 miles per hour at that drop. And there's also a spinning section to the ride and like a launch sequence. And all the while, you're being entertained on the screen with some 3D action that's right in front of your face with your favorite Harry Potter characters. But watch out for Nagini, she just might sting you. This is a totally immersive experience. Personally, I prefer this type of simulator ride to those that you end up just sitting in a theater type seating. I like the ones that kind of have a little ride to it, a little motion. But regardless, this attraction is not to be missed, especially if you're a Harry Potter fan, but even for non-fans, they're going to enjoy this ride. Okay guys, before we get to item number 1 on the list, let's talk about a few of the things that couldn't even make the cut, didn't even make the top 6. So we have 2 older rides not making the cut, Shrek and the Simpsons. Both are in need of some major upgrades or just being replaced whatsoever. I would say Shrek more than the Simpsons, I mean, because the Simpsons is a cartoon and the ride projection in the screen does give you, a cartoon feel. So that one's not as bad as Shrek, but I really feel like Shrek has overstayed its due and it's time to move on, get something new in here, update this attraction. That's why it did not make the top 6 here on this list today. Now there are 2 newer rides, some very new rides that didn't make the cut of top screen rides, top simulator rides here at Universal, and that's going to be Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon, mainly because it is one of those theater type rides where you just go in and you sit in a theater, you're not in a moving vehicle. The real redemption for this ride is the queue. Now the queue is really fun. The ride itself is a little underwhelming, and speaking of underwhelming, we have the Slow and the Curious. I'm sorry, I mean the Fast and the Furious. This is basically a little mini version of the Kong ride, other than it's set in a city. It's on a disco bus, not a jungle bus. And the ride is really short. That's one of the major downfalls to the ride. I think the queue's amazing. It's just the fact that the ride itself, a little underwhelming. Mainly, it's really short. I think that's the main drawback to this ride. Coming in at number 1 today for the best simulation rides at Universal Studios, the Amazing SpiderMan.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that honor. It's a truly good one.
Well, thanks SpiderMan for that help with the introduction here. After all, you are the number 1 item on this list of best simulator rides, screen rides, and it brings us all the way back over here to Islands of Adventure for this classic Spider-Man ride, which, even though I called it a classic, it has some upgrades and now is projected in 4K. In this ride, we're going to join Spider-Man as he attempts to save the Statue of Liberty from the Sinister Syndicate. Again, I love these screen rides that actually puts you in a vehicle and takes you on a ride. That's why they're ranking higher than the ones that say when you sit just in a theater. But I tell you what, all of these rides combine a 3D screen images with movement, But this is the one here, this one Spider-Man, this is the only one that really doesn't give me any motion sickness whatsoever. It's a fun ride with a classic character and no motion sickness. No wonder this is #1 on my list. Well guys, congratulations, you've made it to the end of another video. And if you've made it this far, can I ask you to go a little further? Go ahead and click that subscribe button, that little logo that's above my head right now. Or maybe if you're so inclined, you can donate to our coffee page, buy us a cup of coffee. Or maybe you just want to watch another video. If that's the case, may I suggest this one right here. And with that being said, don't miss the magic, don't miss the fun. Thanks for watching Rix Flicks, and now it's time to relax.